We move on. Now, Thomas Tuchel, he has agreed to become the England manager. We know that by now. In the next segment, I'll discuss a little bit about his opening press conferences and my biggest takeaway from that. But an implication that we have of this, of Thomas Tuchel going to England is that one of the top candidates for United, if they were to sack Ten Hag, is gone now, and I'm looking at the list of potential replacements now. You know, it is looking really, really unlikely. Like, it's looking really, really bad, honestly. If you're looking at the other options, there's no options that are at the level of what we once thought of a United job, should attract. Was Tuchel not becoming England manager, the top options now is Gareth Southgate. He was initially the top option, but he, a few days ago now or so, basically took himself out of that race, saying he's not trying to go back into football for a period. There's a period he just doesn't want to go back into football. He does not want to be involved, something of that sort. Basically, taking him, out of a potential, you know, opportunity to become the United manager. And, you know, and either way, that would have been that would have been a match made and disastrous. Southgate is not at the level of a Premier League job, let alone the job of Manchester United. And you're looking at the list, though. You have, you know, let's get rid of the dreams. I see one website, one odd maker has Zinedine Zidane at the top. Zinedine Zidane, there's been a lot of brilliant opportunities out there that he has not even considered. Why in the hell would he want to go to Manchester United? Like, in this dysfunctional of a team, there's the language barrier. There's the issue with United and the team. And why would he do that? Let's just be for real. Zinedine Zidane, he's waiting for that French job to open up for him. Other than that, he knows what he wants, and he will never entertain Manchester United. He will never entertain that club. Let's just be for real. You know, I hear some things saying if Zidane emerges as clear cut candidate for Man United job, but like, let's there's no possibility. Ruud van Nistelrooy. Ruud van Nistelrooy is a manager that has some first team, experience. He started off managing at Young PSV, which is in the which is the reserve team for PSV Eindhoven. He moved up the ranks, and he was the manager for PSV Eindhoven for a year. You know, had a few stints beforehand as an assistant manager here and there. Started off with the Dutch setup, being assistant manager. Um, Now he's with Ten Hag. He's Man United's assistant manager. Um, and we know one of the top players. He's a legend for Manchester United. Um, he was involved with that's Sir Alex Ferguson's run. He was a United striker from 2001 and 6. He had 95 goals in 150 games. It was an important part of that team. Um, so there's history there. He knows the club. He knows what it was like with the club at the glory days. He knows the culture needed to create a team with a winning mentality. And with PSV at the PSV, when he was the manager at the PSV first team, he was appointed in March 2022. He replaced Roger Schmidt, um, and he won the 2022 the Cruyff Shield, which is essentially the Community Shield, and then the Kenvy Cup, which is which is essentially the a Super Cup kind of tournament. Um, no, it's a domestic cup. Um, and then with one match remaining of that season, he resigns, citing basically a lack of support. When and then a little bit later on, a year later or so, joins United on a 2-year tour to work alongside Erik Ten Hag. There's some unknowns with him. He is a great at the club, and maybe you're thinking Ole effect, but again, not not a Pep Guardiola, or Jose Mourinho, uh, an Antonio Conte, not one of those world class managers, a Thomas Tuchel, none of that you're thinking, you know, like in previous years of United jobs came available, you would have the pick of the bunch. You'd have managers lining up to coach Manchester United. Now you're looking at the list, you're seeing managers like Van Nistelrooy who have a very inexperienced managing at the top level. Michael Carrick, very similar notion. Kieran McKenna, who's never really managed at the top level. Graham Potter, who did get an opportunity at Chelsea, failed miserably, was sacked within a few months, and now is sort of sitting, looking for an opportunity. You're looking, you don't see any options now. Ruben Amorim, that's an option, the Portuguese manager, but it seems like City are kind of target him of Pep Guardiola decides to leave, and it looks like a manager like him, he'll have his options. He's a manager that's that I fancied. Um, I see people have Inzaghi a potential. Why would Simone Inzaghi leave Inter Milan to coach Manchester United? Why would he do that to himself? Inter Milan is a club that is going to battle for domestic Serie A, that have chances to make runs in the Champions League. You're going for a United team. Why would you leave that to go to a United team that's struggling to even qualify for Europe? The list that United could realistically make as potential suitors is a joke of a list of your considering the quality of managers that Manchester United would have in the past, waiting for lining up to be their manager. And I think that's a very, very concerning sign, because these managers that you see in the list, if I could come up with the word of it, I couldn't say it on here. It's that crap of a list. It's a really, really bad list, and it's a list filled with a lot of and I think there's some options here and there that could do good for Manchester United. I think Thomas Frank is a manager I really, really believe in, with his ability to get the best out of the quality of players that he has, his tactical ability of being able to set up teams to play, to set up a team that, take advantage of the opponent's weaknesses and all that notion of Thomas. I think he could be a really good manager, but United in the past, they never well, obviously they never had to do this because they had Sir Alex Ferguson for so long, but United, they're not the type of club that or any United, Chelsea, Arsenal, they went with this approach actually, and it turns out they ended up getting a success. But usually when these top 6 clubs go out and hire a manager, they're usually hiring a manager that's had experience, has a high quality experience in top leagues. Don't think United have those options right now, and I'm just, I really, I was thinking, Tuchel is not the United manager. I don't know what direction that they go in. I really have no idea what direction there is to go in, because Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino, in my opinion, were the 2 managers that had the most quality that was available in the summer. Both of them have springed themselves into international football. to take on new opportunities, to have a new experience in terms of football management. I think that puts United now in a very, very sticky situation because, I mean, where do you go? Again, Zidane is not realistic. And Van Nistelrooy, really? Is that what United have come to? They're sort of sitting and praying with the manager? And that's a lot of these options. Van Nistelrooy, McKenna, Carrick. These are all main options. And McKenna, he's done some good things with Ipswich. I don't want to disrespect him. I think Thomas Frank is probably the best manager on that list. I think he's done some good. Thomas Frank has done some good things at Brentford. But United, they should be able to get the best in class. And this list lacks that, to say the least. And it just shows the drop-off of United, that suffered within the past decade. It's a massive, massive drop-off. And you only think it's only going to get worse with the way it's a linear equation of dropping off. You don't see it. You don't see any curve of sometimes it turning. It's a linear. Well, the camera's showing it positive actually, but I'm trying to go down. It's a linear negative slope of constant. The standards and values of the club going down, and it seems like it's just going to continue to go that way.